Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. You already know who it is and who it ain't. Black heart, black mind, black end. Shining again. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. So here's the deal about this message. I'm actually going to address the author Shahrazad Ali in this message. I heard the live interview with MTR. I finally got a chance to sit down while I was eating and to listen to it. Let me say this regarding that interview. The issue with it is only one. We already know Shahrazad Ali was actually the one that started this. We can debate, gentlemen, about who started the Blk Manosphere, but it's like debating about who started the Black Panther Party. You've had the BPP, which we pretty much attribute to being started by Bobby Seale and Huey Newton, and then other chapters were started by locals to that chapter. But then again, before them, they would tell you that before them there was the Lowndes County Panthers, of which H. Rap Brown was a founding member. But let's go further. All of the Panthers say that they were inspired by Malcolm X's understanding. So they themselves will point to Malcolm X as their inspiration. And rightfully so. Well, it is the same thing in this case. We could debate about the foundation of the Blk Manosphere as we know it today. There's also 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. The debate will never end, but we will tell you that we took our knowledge. It wasn't even just inspiration or conviction and faith. We took our knowledge from what Shahrazad Ali wrote 31 years and some change ago. Mrs. Ali, the one thing you did wrong was when MTR asked you what you think about the manosphere, and the first thing you said was, well, you know, some of them sound like they've been rejected by women or turned out by men. I don't know which one. That was uncalled for. All the rest was pretty wise and sharp, but that was uncalled for. See, the Blk Manosphere is like your grandchild. As he said, you're like the paternal grandmother of the Blk Manosphere. Now, I think he said that Ayanna Van Zant was like the maternal grandmother, but I wouldn't say that because, see, she tells us black men to stand with sisters in it in their effery. So I'm not sure about that, but you are like actually the grandmother. That's how I view it, because the ones who are debated between as to which one was the founder of the Blk Manosphere, well, okay, they got the knowledge from you. We got the knowledge from you. So when you were asked about it and you said this, you could say some. You did not say all. That's true. The problem is the way you said some, you said it first. And that shows that was the first thing that came to your mind, which shows that you actually believe the stereotypes our enemies have of what it means to be in any manosphere, black or white, but we're talking about the black one. Bunch of, I guess, socially awkward or just unattractive guys sitting in mom's basement mad because they're not getting any coochie. Number one, if that were true, these men still would have a right to be upset, because let's take what it is that sisters want in the first fucking place. You yourself have said that a lot of what sisters want ain't even valid. I'm saying almost none of what they want is valid. Now, we've already had somewhat of an agreement, although maybe differing on the extent. We've already agreed on the general invalidity of what a lot of Western sisters want from black men. You even said throw out the materialism, because the one thing black men have been stopped from acquiring and accumulating is wealth. So how dare we judge them by materialistic standards? And you know what? That's a very logical point. I can't knock that. But see, here's the thing about being rejected. Now, number one, a man being turned out by another man is GAY. He don't belong in the manosphere. His community is the GAY community. They'll tell you that. They ain't into women. They don't feel a guck. We're in here because we still care about women. But we're going to have to train ourselves to even unnaturally live without women. Doesn't mean with men or try to replace women with men. It doesn't mean that. And I do think that there will be some guys who get this confused later on, but I suspect that they're a generation away. Right now, the men alive and at this time understand the difference between being in a black manosphere, because you're sick of what women in whom you were naturally interested are doing by lying and deceiving in the games they're playing, which you explained very well. Well ahead of your time. 30 years ago, 31 plus some change years ago. But the men that have been rejected by women, well, let's look at that. They've been rejected by women because of what? Well, because not only of what sisters might want, but let's look at the following. Number one, sisters don't say what they want. Number two, they lie about what they want. Number three, they change what they want. Okay? And then number four, men have already done everything that we know to try to be, do, and have what sisters want. We've already done that. But then that brings us right back to number one. They don't say what they want. And number two, they turn around and lie. So not saying then lying, that means that all the rest don't really even matter. They change what they want, but what does that matter when you lie in the first place? We've tried to be, do, and have what they want. What does that matter when they lie in the first place? So again, the hamster wheel on which we're running, trying to do, be, and have, and then give sisters what they want, is not our fault. So if these men are upset about being rejected, so for the muck and what? They're right. That's why when I sign out, I say black, heterosexual, non-select male power just because they don't like it. I hated to have to include you in they, Miss Ali. I didn't want to. I didn't think I was doing that when I said it. But do not, even though you have told the truth, well, accurately, and ahead of your time, do not diminutize and minimize and ridicule the black manosphere. It is your grandchild. You might say, well, that child there is resting on the shoulders of some sloppy parents. You conceived the parent. You're the parent of that parent. So how did that parent become sloppy? When you said that, you were indirectly pointing a finger at yourself. You were doing yourself a disservice. Now, Miss Ali, the rest was on point, and I appreciate that. And I mean that from the bottom of my black heart and the depth of my black mind. That's no cap. But understand, this is a war we're in. You said it, and the lady that called in and you took her question also said it's a war. And we black men did not start that war. You can ask B.G.S. Ibmore as a historian in this black manosphere you diminutized. You can ask Dr. T. Hassan Johnson as historian and professor and doctor of Africana Studies, who knows this stuff about the standards to which we've been unfairly held, which you have railed against. Against which you have railed, including the unrealistic materialism standards or materialistic standards that completely ignore the fact that wealth is the one thing we have been killed for acquiring. You can ask the Green Gorilla, the G with a PhD, and you can ask Dr. Ronald Neal. These are the academics, and that's why I'm pointing to them. I'm not discounting at all the non-academics. Edward Allen Anderson, among them. Lion of MGTOW. And I'm on the boundary in between the non-academics and the academics, but the academics I mentioned, just start there. You can check with them and you're going to find out the ridiculous nature of caring about what sisters want, and the invalidity of using how many times a man's been rejected by women as a disqualifier, because you know very well that black women are under social pressure to reject a lot of men, and that is an incentive for them to reject even men that weren't trying to shoot a shot. Ma'am, is this the right direction for me to find? I ain't interested. You see, that type thing. They got a social incentive. Malcolm X is the one that talked about that particular thing before you did. He talked about in his autobiography how women brag about telling chumps to get lost. He had a problem with that. And you've admitted as much, that they get off on and brag about who they told off and declined. You described black women as being a further-mucking Jezebel, and you were right. Talking about the black woman of North America, and you were absolutely correct. You were correct in saying this ain't all of them, but it's too many. You were right about that too. It ain't all, but it's too many. You were right when you described the games they played. But because of this, it is now time for you, Miss Ali, as well as Rebecca Lynn Pope, to confront something that is difficult even for you two to admit. The Manosphere, SYSBM, IBMOR, these are all necessary reactions to a truth to which you all have already admitted. Black men are not driving black women away. Black Western women are driving black men away. The guilt and the accountability are one-sided. It's not mutual. Only a few black men even have the opportunities given to them by women to do the things about which black women complain. It's only a few. Most black men don't even get those opportunities. So it's time for you to confront that fact and to understand that because of the lopsided or one-sided nature of the guilt which rests in the hands and on the shoulders of the Western black woman, driving away the black man, these are necessary reactions which are not our fault. We didn't have an option. We didn't have a choice. Understand this too. Notice that I said black men are not driving black women away. And I turned around and I said, Western black women are driving black men away. I didn't specify Western black men anywhere, because Western black women are driving away Western and non-Western black men. We saw the clip of that African-American lady in Ghana married to a further-mucking prince, and she sat up and said to him, "I pay you in punani," arguing with him because he wanted her to be safer than being out on the streets late at night in the city of Accra. I pay you in punani. That nasty attitude. That's the Western sister for the most part. And that is so unfair to the ones that are not like that, like Asada Muhammad, like you, Miss Ali, like you, Miss Rebecca Lynn Pope, maybe even like Jessica X, and certainly like Kendra D. It's unfair to y'all. But the fact is, you got to admit that the blame is not on black men. When black men marry out or date out, it is because sisters demanded that with the way that they acted. And plus, when black men do marry or date out, they still tend to look to other women of color. I myself, before I found out before I started to have discussions with my current wife about marriage, I myself was about to lean towards a Southeast Asian woman. I wasn't going to go to the white woman. I wasn't about to do that. That wasn't about to happen. But even I was pretty much going to leave alone sisters because of what sisters wanted. It wasn't even hatred. It's just what do they want? They want me to leave them alone. Okay, fine. They're driving a black man away. Okay, fine, we gone. I wasn't about to turn around and jump straight to Massa's granddaughter, but when sisters jump the fence, they go straight for the white man. They ain't trying to get with the Latin American in many cases. They might try to get with the Arab or the Chinese or the Korean. And what do these men have in common? Or the Pakistani or the Afghan? What do they all have in common? Their people don't like black folks and don't look at us as equals. That's what they all share in common. They don't usually try to get with the men, other men of color, whose people are a little bit more adjacent to us politically speaking, like the Latin American, especially the Afro-Latino man. No, he got to be, just like for the white woman, a black man's got to make 8 times as much as a white man to marry the same white woman. For the sister, it's the same thing. The Western sister, a non-Western black man got to make much more than a Western black man does to get with her. Meanwhile, the white man can get with her for pretty much nothing, and we're seeing it happen. And when he does, he can beat her, which we're also seeing happen. You did yourself a disservice when you said what you said about the manosphere. That should have been beneath you to say, to think, let alone to say that. I think you all get the message. Thank you for listening. Miss Ali, I'm not saying this with hatred. But if I don't spare myself when I find out new information that requires me to change a stance, I'm not about to spare you when you sit up here and point a finger at your own conceptual grandchild. And therefore, shoot yourself in the foot. Thank you for listening. Black Heart, Black Mind, Blackout, Assalamu Alaikum, Black Heterosexual Non-Select Male Power just because they don't like it, and Black Patriarchy until extinction or Judgment Day.